Welcome to Maine, where clean water, farm-fresh ingredients, and the creativity of rugged souls combine to create beers known around the world. More than 100 breweries have opened in Maine in just the past 5 years, and so the opportunity for you to create a tailored adventure filled with great beer is around every corner. Hi, I'm Sean Sullivan, Executive Director of the Maine Brewers Guild. Wherever you find yourself and whatever your beer of choice, I hope you'll tune in each week to learn and explore Maine's beer and beverage scene. Cheers from Maine.
Hey everybody, and thanks so much for joining us for episode 9, our first season ever of Cheers from Maine. And sad but not too sad, our last episode for the first season. We're excited to gear up and start thinking of more content for season 2. But in the meantime, I wanted to give a big thanks not only to all of you for participating, News Center Maine for airing all of these passionate people and stories, but also some of our contributors. We have Amanda O'Brien, Sean Sullivan, the Mallet brothers, our talented team at Maine Life Media, and then these two guys, Topher and Don.
Well, I'll say it's been a really incredible experience, not only to meet these different people, go to their facilities all across the state and learn about what they're doing, but also to do it in a way to present it to you, the viewers, so that you can feel and appreciate the art forms and the hard work it takes to make these craft alcohol beverages.
It was amazing to have you showcase what we do, and then it was incredibly inspiring to get to be part of, like you said, the show on the road and see what other distillers, for my part, as well as being on for the wineries, the breweries, real estate. I learned more about Maine in a few weeks than I have, I think, in the last 6 years.
You had a lot of fun on the way, right? I mean, you guys had some good times.
Plenty of bloopers.
Yeah, Don, let's take a look back at some of our favorite moments. What do you say?
Sounds great. Well, we had so many adventures on the road this season of Cheers from Maine. Some real highlights and some places that were truly a pleasure to explore. Let's take a look back and see some of our favorite segments from this past season.
So we're here in the Pepperell Mill in Biddeford, Maine. We realized that people really love having somewhere to come have a beer, and they like having a beer where it's brewed. You know, one of the greatest things about it is how the town has received us and supported us the whole way. As soon as I started getting into beer, I realized it was more than just something I like to do as a hobby, and I quickly decided that I needed to make it the way I make my living. The first beer I decided to make was an IPA, just because it's basically the most popular beer style. The second beer I decided to make was a German-style Pilsner, and that was really what I founded my legitimacy as a brewer on. What I'm interested in is not so much growth to be nationwide, but I just want our beer to always be fresh and always be appreciated wherever it is. Yeah, the beer industry in Maine has grown a lot since we opened in 2013. We're all friends, we all know each other very well, we all collaborate all the time, we get along. It's really the beer industry that's drawn me back, and it's drawn a lot of people here.
Hi, I'm Jen Lever. I'm the president of Baxter Brewing Company, located in Lewiston, Maine, in the heart of the Bates Mill Complex, where we have our brewery and pub space, which we're going to show you today. It really is a passion industry, so follow where your true passion is. I think that's really resonates with people purchasing your beer. You know, I grew up in Auburn, and so regardless of my role at Baxter, it's been really powerful to watch the Lewiston Auburn community be supportive and also be really engaged in what we've got going on. And so when we were looking at the redesign, right here is the lineup, the new variety pack lineup. So you'll see the top of the ridgeline here on the stowaway is the Katahdin ridgeline from Baxter to Pomola Peak.
All right, this looks pretty exciting, Jen. What do we got?
Yeah, it's our very first run of our new stowaway 12-ounce can.
Wow.
So same great liquid, a little bit of a refined look. Need to make sure that stowaway drinker who's been a dedicated fan for almost 9 years can find their package, both Still offered in the 6-pack as well as the 12-pack and featured in our variety pack. Yep.
So anybody who has not been to come see the new Baxter, the new pub,
yes,
they really should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth the drive, worth a visit, worth a lifetime, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
Trinken just simply means to drink in German. We just wanted to double down on the flavors of Germany and show people that simple beer is good beer. I'm a 6-year veteran of the United States Army. I served alongside Special Operations. I've just kind of been all over, but I've always been interested in working for myself. I've had quite a passion for beer. There were opportunities out there to follow somebody else's dreams. Why do that when you can just do it yourself? We opened to a packed house. We had a line out the door from 12 o'clock until we closed at 8 o'clock. On 16th, Monday morning, we woke up to basically the industry leaders saying, pump your brakes. We don't know what's happening right now. We don't know what this looks like. We don't even know how long this is gonna last. And thank goodness we were able to serve curbside and takeout. One growler, one howler going out the door is the difference between us staying open or not. And we're just getting started. We're gonna have more German variety. We're not trying to be something that we're not. We just wanted to make simple, good beer. Cheers from Trinken Brewing in West Bath, and cheers from Maine. Prost.
We make Bimini Gin here at Round Turn Distilling. Recently this year, we're named as Wine Enthusiast Magazine's Top 100 Spirits.
We really wanted to have a gin that was different. There's a lot of gins on the market now, but we really wanted to have something unique, distinctive, but also very easy to drink, very easy to mix.
We were thinking of this particular Ernest Hemingway novel called Islands in the Stream. The beginning part of the novel is set on the island of Bimini. So for us, that association between gin and a warm place really was what we were going for.
So today we're going to be making one of our more popular winter cocktails called the Snowbird. So it's a full ounce of coconut cream, half an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice, and an ounce and a half of our original gin. So then the last little part here is we have some Angostura bitters in a dropper bottle. So it's the classic cocktail bitters, but for our purposes here, we're going to be doing a little bit on top.
So even though we might be cold in Maine, we're going to be whisked away to like the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Can't wait to try it.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And cheers from Maine.
And cheers from Round Turn.
Yeah, I got a wine job right out of college. I was a wildlife and fisheries biology major, and they knew I wanted to be outside, and I haven't done anything else since, so I've been doing it now for about 20 years. Wine felt like one of those things where quality really mattered in the agriculture bit. The grapes that you grow really impacted the product. We moved to Maine and started this about 12 years ago. We want good value fruit, either organic or sustainable. You know, we look at our job as sort of nature's assistant as opposed to winemaker and chemist. But this wine, I can tell you, could have been made 2,000 years ago. And so this is made in the carbonic maceration style. So we seal it right up without crushing the fruit, sealed up with the clusters in there whole. And we leave it in there for about 2 months. And it undergoes this carbonic maceration style fermentation, so interberry, that ferments inside the berry. And you get these really big, fresh, fruity, juicy flavors. And so this is no manipulations whatsoever, nothing added, nothing taken away. This is what wine could have tasted like 2,000 years ago. Cheers from Oyster River wine growers, and cheers from Maine.
We got started sipping on whiskey. We were curious why there weren't more craft distilleries, so we started exploring.
We are Maine's first and only certified organic craft distillery.
For us, it was always about trying to create the absolute best product we could and organic was a big part of that.
So we get all of our grain from Champlain Valley Milling in upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah, all of it is milled to our flour specs that we're looking for. We lift those 50-pound bags of grain up into the mash tun. We'll pump over 1/2 of a volume of one of the mash tuns into the still itself. So for our bourbon, for example, we're running it through the 4-window whiskey column. What we're ultimately looking to do is to drive the lighter and lighter ethanol molecules further and further up. So more or less, we're refining that alcohol each time it goes up.
Getting better and better all the way.
Exactly.
There's certainly the mentality amongst us that if we support one another, people will start asking for Maine spirits, and outside of Maine, we'll start to build a brand just like beer has. It's the theory of a rising tide lifts all boats.
We'd love to have you come visit us at 16 Osprey Point Road in Newcastle and come try our wonderful organic spirits.
The favorite part of my job is helping entrepreneurs and business owners create and bring to fruition the vision that they have. For instance, here at Good Fire Brewery, this is owned and operated by a good friend of mine who had been brewing beer in his basement, and his product was terrific. And seeing what he and other entrepreneurs have been able to do with those visions has just been fantastic and a real inspiration.
Cheers from Bolus!
I think that's the Wex way, you know. We are a small group of really high-powered, very animated, very active group of people, which is what makes Wex so attractive. You know, we are definitely play hard, definitely work hard, and trying to get that good balance is always the fun part. But yeah, no, we have a lot of fun.
Hi everyone, welcome to Print Salon in Falmouth.
You're ready to drive again. Get your new Honda today.
Welcome back, everybody. Throughout the season, we asked one question of everyone we visited, and it was, who'd you have a drink with, dead or alive, and why? I really felt I learned something unique about each brand as they fielded an answer.
And who did Don say? What was yours, Don? You were really first.
You know, Aaron, that's actually never aired, but if I was to sit down and have a drink with anybody in the world, it would be Bruce Springsteen. For nearly 50 years, his storytelling and musical ability has inspired me and millions of people around the world. Every day, if I just need a little pick-me-up, Bruce juice is always the cure. So that's my answer.
I love it. Well, we got some good ones, so let's take a look back.
I don't know, Jimmy Buffett. He's an old rum guy. He's an old pirate.
If there's one person dead or alive that I could create a cocktail using my bitters and a really good rum like Sebago Lake, it would be Ernest Hemingway, who loved his rum.
I'd have to say Lou Reed. Maybe the coolest person who ever lived, as far as I can see.
Steve McQueen, because he's cool.
If I could have a beer with anybody, I think it would be Michelle Obama. She's just fierce and classy and, you know, has overcome and persevered, and those are things that I would just really want to dig deeper into.
Gosh, you know, the first person who comes to mind, probably because I just finished her book, is Michelle Obama. I would love to sit down and have a beer with her and talk about ways to move forward together.
That's outstanding. And that's the second Michelle Obama we've got today.
Really?
Yeah, Elizabeth Johnston from Lake St. George said a very similar thing.
Wow.
There's been so many books written about cider, and almost every single one of them seems to mention John Adams as having drank a tankard of cider a day. So I'd be interested to know what he thought.
I would invite Tom Waits. We would drink whiskey because that's really, I think, the only real cocktail is a little bit of ice with some whiskey in it. Or, it might even be Anthony Bourdain if he could come back. And I know Tony would enjoy whiskey. And I think between the three of us, we could probably finish a bottle.
It'd be Albert Einstein. He's just as nerdy as I am, and I'm not half as smart, so maybe I could learn something from him. And I'm pretty sure he enjoyed some beers.
There is a gentleman by the name of Michael Jackson, not the pop star Michael Jackson, but the beer historian Michael Jackson. And he was critical in bringing awareness to brewers of different beer cultures and what was happening. I wish that Michael Jackson could come have a beer at our bar with me.
I would say having an innuendo with Jim Cook from Boston Beer would be up there.
I'd be interested in doing that with Jim Cook from Boston Beer Company, and just to hear about his success and be able to really talk beer and kind of geek out on that would be fun.
If I could have a beer with anybody right now in my tap room, it is one of my mentors, John Zaskovich. He is a co-owner of Kent Falls Brewery right now. Without them as well, we wouldn't be here as we are, both in the farm and the brewery. So
I would share our Hefeweizen with Ed Homeyer. He kept me alive in times that I probably wasn't supposed to be. And he's gone, but because he's gone, I'm here.
That would have to be my father. Part of the reason that gin is one of our products is that I made him gin and tonics from the age of 5 when he came home from work. So it's nice to be able to give him a gin that I helped make.
If I could have a drink with one person in the world, that's a tough question, but it'd probably be my grandfather, who he worked very hard at the blueberry farm, and he passed away a few years ago before we started the distillery. So it would be great to have him taste something that he helped create.
If I were to have definitive beer with any person, living or deceased, it'd have to be my dad. My mom passed away when I was 11. And so my dad and I have had a bond together that has been, one that I don't think many children are able to have with any single parent. And he and I have shared every success and every tragedy along the way. And so one of the most exciting things about having built this brand is when my dad, who's one of the minority investors, and I can go play golf or go out on the boat and share a Conti or a 35 or one of his favorite beers.
That's a good question. Off the cuff, I would go with my grandfather. No longer with us, but I know he enjoyed whiskey and I'd love to catch up with him.
If I could have a drink with someone, especially my bourbon, I'd have to say I would also want to include my grandfathers, both of which who I never met and who passed away before I was born. And it'd be something I'd be very proud to share.
We're all inspired by the stories of resilience and creativity shown by the breweries, wineries, and distilleries all throughout Maine. But we're also looking ahead to see how each of these industries and companies will bounce back and reconnect directly with their fans and customers. We brought together the volunteer leaders of all 3 of Maine's craft alcohol guilds to do just that. Together, they represent about 200 small businesses scattered throughout the state.
I would say that the thing that I found most inspirational about the distillers are, as with everybody in business really, is that how quickly they were able to switch gears and working with the University of Maine to produce hand sanitizer for distribution to hospitals. Very, very quick pivot for folks, and really, really very proud of that.
We've gotten a lot of feedback from our membership about just the level of communication that we've had, and I'm very proud of that.
The locals have been very supportive and stepped up, and we just need to continue to cater that to them, and hope we can build more of an internal economy within the state. Our group has become very creative in how they're trying to bring their product to the customer too, trying to maintain the safety protocol, but still offer virtual tastings and offering gift packs like wine and cheese packs that we can get to our customers directly so we can do the pairing for them. We're still trying to approach the situation in a positive light.
Our industries, whether it be beer, wine, or liquor, is all about people being together and sharing opportunities to taste crafted beverages. For the tasting room phenomenon that's been happening in Maine over the years is going to change. I think we just need to be very careful. I think we ought to keep public safety and the safety of our staff and our employees top of mind.
Key is being flexible and just kind of going with the flow and, keep the network going so that once the good times do come, we'll be able to just go forward. We have such excellent resources here with all the products that Maine produces. It's great to have a strong Maine economy that's all kind of working amongst itself.
If we can just be patient and meter it a little bit, we'll get it back. We're not going to get it next week. We're not going to get it next month. It's just operate leanly, be safe, and we'll have those customers back. We're not losing what we have. It's just on a pause right now.
It's been something we've all wanted to do for personal reasons, and now it becomes very important that, we as a Maine community really need to be supporting other members of our Maine community and getting out there and buying from small producers around the state, going and getting takeout when you can, where you can, just all helping out because we are a state of small businesses and we need to be watching out for each other.
We will be okay. The tourists will be back. We're a resilient state, and I totally believe in that.
So before we let you go, we want to let you know that even though this is our final episode of season 1, we are not going too far. Don and Topher, you have committed to continuing some great content both online, and we'll also integrate it on our shows here on News Center Maine. We will, however, next week be kicking off a brand new show called Dock and Dine, which I'm really excited about. Season 1, exploring our lakes regions and coastal communities. And I think what better time to be out on the water, social distance a little bit, and just enjoy the Maine outdoors. So look for that, Dock and Dine. But in the meantime, guys, cheers for Maine on Instagram, Maine Life Media, Facebook, and website. What do you guys have in store? What's the next steps for you?
I think for us, we're looking forward to getting back on the road and going in a safe manner to tell even more people about what's happening here in the state, this time in-person tours.
We're going to focus on curbside. We're also working on a rum, which is a pretty exciting summer project. And me personally, I think I've got to get a boat and get on the water. I mean, I want to be part of Dock and Dine. That sounds great.
Pick you
this
up.
Distillery thing worked out.
Can I go too?
A reunion. No, genuinely, guys, thank you so much. You have been wonderful hosts and producers. Don, especially from that drink we had when this was just a vision in my head. Really couldn't thank you enough. So we leave you with our friends and contributors, the Mallet brothers, Luke and Will. Here they are with Rock and Share from their backyard. Thanks, everybody.
You can take my song, I don't care. You can take my house, leave my rocking chair. You can take this shirt out of my bag, leave my joy, I keep holding that, and keep my joy, yeah, keep my joy, keep my joy, I keep my joy. Somebody I don't know takes all my pay. After all the hours I done slaved away, about to change my direction.